And greetings and welcome to the QCast. This is season 4, episode 49. And this is the first ever of its kind episode of the QCast where we're going to have some breaking news about a Division III men's basketball student athlete that is transferring from one institution to another. And this is a really interesting one and an interesting time just to talk to this individual in general. I have Mr. Jack Stone,
Going on,
a
Bob?
really, really good hooper from Carnegie Mellon. And Jack Stone, can you confirm that I just said it right? It's Carnegie Mellon, not Carnegie Mellon.
Carnegie,
Is that right? Is
Carnegie
that correct?
Mellon, Carnegie Mellon, correct?
Okay. And you said your coach would get on you if you said it wrong, right?
Yeah, he's a big guy about pronouncing stuff right. Been here for a while, so you got to get it the right way. Carnegie Mellon.
Okay. And our guy Jack Stone is from Carnegie Mellon. He's a 6'2" senior guard and still in Pittsburgh, right? That I
Yeah,
can't tell out the windows, but I think you're in Pittsburgh. Is that right?
yep, right here on the campus down
And
in
have you
Pittsburgh.
have you become like a Steelers fan, a Pirates fan? I know you're from California, from Newport Beach, which is nowhere
Yeah.
near Pittsburgh. Are you a fan of any of the Pittsburgh teams?
So I'm not. I'm from Southern California. I got two older brothers who were born in South Florida. So all my ties are to South Florida sports. So I mean, you can see back here, I'm a diehard Heat fan, Dolphins fan. I follow the Lakers just because I'm a LeBron guy, but Miami sports is where I'm at.
South Florida sports. I
Yeah.
like it. The kid's from Southern California. He's in Pittsburgh for college, but he's following the Miami sports scene. This is fascinating stuff on the QCast. Uh, Jack, I appreciate your time. Again, we've got some breaking news we'll get to in just a second about where you're going to go. First, let me just ask you related to the season. You know, you guys had a good season, 16-10, 8-6 in a great league. The league, which I'll continue to say was the strongest league top to bottom. To me, it wasn't very close again, just like last year. You made the tourney. You had a good season. Looking back on the season that was, what are your takes on the season?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. We had some up and downs, lost a couple bad games early on, but I think we really found our stride towards, and we had a big win early on in conference, hit a little bit of a roadblock, but then the second half of conference play, we really got it going. And I mean, it's so much fun when you're winning and you're traveling. Um, yeah, man. I mean, we know that we got a lot of talent on our team, and we knew that we could compete with anyone. And it shows, I think, with some of our wins. Looking back on the season, it was a blast. Really close team too. A lot of fun.
I watched a ton of your games this year. Is your gym? I've never been in your gym, but it's one of the coolest looking gyms. I can picture it now. It's got like these white brick walls
Yeah.
on the left side of my screen, and I feel like on the right there's like a door that goes right outside
Yeah.
or something.
So
What's going on
so
in there?
so my freshman year, 2020, we played in Skibo, which was a historic gym, right? I mean, it's 5 minute walk from where we play now. Um, I got to school in 2020. It was COVID, so I mean we wore masks. We did 5-on-0 stuff in Skibo, and then went home for winter break, came back, and our coach told us we were knocking the gym down and building a brand new one. So from there on out, 2021, 2022 until now, we were playing in our university center. Um,
Oh,
I mean, all the other students who wanted to play basketball. And that gym looked totally different when we first moved in there. I remember after the first year we played, we came back and they put drapes all over the windows, and made it into like a real, court where we could play at. And
right.
we originally, I think, coach was thinking about playing at Duquesne or maybe the Pittsburgh, like Pitt's gym.
Sure.
It didn't work out though. We just had to kind of make do with what we had. But yeah, a totally different look. And then next year that brand new gym will be ready.
Oh,
We'll
that
start
bet that'll be
training.
nice, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be really cool. Have you seen that? Like, what's that going to be like?
It's I haven't gotten to see it yet. When we had our alumni weekend, our athletic director Josh, walked all the alumni through the building, and from what they told me, it's awesome. I mean, it's going to be giant arena, turf fields for like softball and stuff. The issue we have right now is just gym time, and there's a lot of guys,
Yeah.
students who want to play, and intramurals and stuff like that. It's tough, like for us on the basketball team to get in. But we're gonna have the main gym. There'll be a rec gym, and then we'll have the university center. So plenty of room. It's gonna be awesome. Sucked, dude. The one thing that really sucked was we would meet with our athletic director, and he would ask me, RJ, and Josiah, my other roommates, what kind of stuff we'd want to see in the gym. And I'm sitting there like, I'm not going to be here. Just when they're showing me all like the slideshows about the
Right.
renditions, and um kind of sucked, but it's going to be awesome for the younger guys.
Can't wait to watch it next year. But I do think that current place you've been kind of has a really cool
It does,
character
right?
about it, kind of a cool look on this on the stream. One of the
Yeah.
games, again, I watched a ton of your games, and the reason you guys got into the tournament, despite having some losses, is that you had wins over so many top teams. That's what got you in. And one of the games that I remember watching was the home game against NYU. Did you guys sweep NYU? Am I thinking of that right?
We did, yeah.
You swept the home game, though. You had 32 points in that one. You were 10 of 18 from the field. You were 4 of 8 from three. You really had it going against the Violets in the first NYU game. That probably was somewhere in, I'm guessing that was January. I'm thinking it was January. But talk about that, because they came into that game really highly rated. They were great all year. Tough team. Talk about that NYU game and kind of your performance in that one.
Yeah. Coming off the bench earlier in the year, I knew, in talking with my coach a lot, that I needed to come in and provide a scoring spark. And something that's always been a big thing for me is if I can get to the free throw line early, or get an easy bucket early on, I got so much confidence just because I put in a lot of work on my jumper. And I think that was huge for me. I think I got to the free throw line for my first bucket of the game, and from there, I just feel like when I got it going, it just comes easy to me, and I think that's what happened, um, early on in that NYU game. And then, I think towards the end of the first half, beginning of the second half was when we really start, like as a team, we're in this game, and we knew coming off a big win against Case, we're like, all right, maybe we belong here, and we belong against these top teams. Um, and I was just trying to do whatever I could to get us there. And like I said, I just had it going that game.
I also remember watching your final game of the year, the NCAA tournament game. You were at Catholic. You were playing Rowan. That was on like a Friday. Seemed like it was early in the day. It was like
Yeah,
an afternoon game, right? And I remember, I don't remember all the details, but I remember thinking you were going to win the whole game until like the end. I think you led most of the way, and maybe gave up a lead, say in the last 5 or 6 minutes, something like that. I feel like
yeah.
you led like 34, 33 minutes, something like that. Rowan was, I thought they were a really tough team. They were kind of big and physical and athletic. Talk about that Rowan matchup.
Yeah, so we started off pretty slow. I think we're just adjusting to, I mean, you're watching the UAA. Rowan is a really different team from teams
Yeah,
we
for
play at
sure.
UAA. Fast pace, causing havoc, causing turnovers.
Yeah.
Um, and I think coming out the beginning of the game, it took us a little bit of time to adjust, but then we started to hit our stride and find a groove. And we are up, I think, 10 or 11 with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah. That's what I
Um,
remember. Yeah.
and we got into foul trouble early on, or in those last 10 minutes, and we struggled to. I mean, their pressure was tough. I mean, they, like I said, deflections everywhere, turnovers, and yeah, I mean, once they got to the bonus, you know, it was tough to keep them off the line, and we couldn't score enough to win.
And I did forget that at the beginning of the game, they jumped out to a pretty good little lead, didn't they? And
Yeah,
you guys had to battle back, and you battled all the way back. You took the lead, you held the lead a long time. So you didn't lead for 33 minutes, but you led a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but yeah, they went on to beat Catholic on Catholic's floor the next night, and
Yeah.
they were a really good team.
Yeah.
Um, another one of my favorite moments of the season, Jack Stone, I got to ask you about is this thing where I can't remember all the details, but like there was a Twitter thing. Someone's like, "Oh my God, they just did a video review, and they took points off the board at the Carnegie Mellon game, the Carnegie Mellon game."
There you go.
And I'm like, "What the hell's going on here?" So I started breaking down video. Now, the best way I could explain it is one of your dudes gets fouled, and like I think you just be like, "Oh, I got fouled," and then you shoot the free throws, you make both the free throws, and they wipe those off because it turns out you were like 49 feet away from the play. So Jack Stone, tell like what happened there? Is it, and who's this kid that got fouled? Did you think he wasn't able to make the free throws? Walk me through the story if you would.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first off, I knew he could make the free throws because our starting point guard Aiden, he's
I
incredible.
thought he could too. Yeah.
He we were pressing towards the end of the game. We were down a little bit. I think this is against Ithaca.
That sounds right.
And he hurt his thumb on his right hand.
Okay.
I know he came to me before he got fouled, and I overheard him talking to our trainer about how he hurt his thumb. So he got fouled, and it was all kinds like people were talking and stuff, and I just held my hand up, walked to the free throw line, and they gave me the ball. And I knocked the free throws down, and I thought actually now that I'm remembering it, I think one of the guys on Ithaca noticed it and he said something to the referee, and the referee didn't hear him. So I shot the free throws, and then there was a timeout, and then the coaches on the other team said something, and I was just worried that they were going to call it technical. I don't know what the rules are with that.
I don't either.
So I go to my coach, and I'm like, I hope I didn't just lose us the game. But it was a funny moment. And then they wiped the points off the board, which I didn't even know they could do either.
Yeah, because it wasn't like I want to say the foul like happened in the middle of the lane or something.
Oh,
And like
I wasn't
you were
even.
you might as well have been in the other side of the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you weren't we couldn't even make a case you were involved in the situation. But I thought it was super crafty. I loved it.
Well,
And it's
you
great.
see it a lot in the NBA. It doesn't
Right.
really work, but guys like Steph Curry and
Right.
like they always try it. And I was just thinking, I was like, oh, shit. I mean, I should just try it, and it worked until it didn't.
It's
But it
great.
was funny when we were laughing. I talked to the referee after the game. I was like, "How'd you miss it?" And he was like, I wasn't even thinking about it."
It
Funny.
was it was good stuff. It had Twitter a buzz for, a couple hours one day, which was great. Um, okay, so let's get into kind of the meat of this QCast here, Jack, is I've never had any kind of breaking transfer news on the QCast, and this is going to be our first one. First of all, tell us what is your degree from Carnegie Mellon going to be in when you graduate? I assume you graduate in maybe a couple months here. What's your degree going to be in?
Yeah, so I'm majoring in business here with a concentration in finance. I came in and then transferred into the Tepper School of Business. So when I graduate, I'll be graduating with a business degree, um, and a minor in statistics too.
Yikes, boy, we might have to get you with like the Snyders, the DataCast guys, or
Oh yeah.
D3 bubble. If you got a statistics background, you might get hit up by those guys at some point. So what is it like? Not that when I was your age that I knew what the hell I was going to do, but do you some of you guys I talk to are so impressive. You got it all figured. Do you have a vision of what you want to do with the rest of your life? What kind of job you want to have? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think this kind of segues into this. I think what you're going to ask next, but I think something in sports. I'm a big sports guy. Love basketball. I love football. And I just feel like I would be making the wrong decision if I didn't pursue a career in sports. Something in the front office. Using my finance background, I think I can help out a lot. Or I think NIL is a really interesting thing right now.
Sure.
There's a lot of opportunities there. So I think I'm going to get my master's, and I think something I'll learn will help me decide, what I'm going to do with my background. But to
Well,
answer your question, I'm not entirely sure, what that is yet.
but no, that's way more than I knew when I was
Mhm.
your age. I had a lot of stuff going on that second semester my senior year, but none of it had to do with the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So that could be a whole nother QCast. I would say if none of this works out, you could get a finance job and you could start a podcast about something. You could do that. It doesn't make any money, but I'm
I
just saying that a podcast is a fallback for you.
when I was in high school, when COVID hit, I had a lot of free time, and I had a friend who was also super into basketball, and we started up a podcast. We did a couple episodes. I mean, obviously didn't have as many viewers as you, but it's fun.
QCast is pretty big time. Yeah.
Just talking basketball with anybody is awesome.
Yeah. I'm just
So yeah,
saying,
it could be something I do.
if you can't find this front office job, with the Miami Heat or whatever you're looking
Oh,
for, maybe the Marlins, would you work for the Marlins in the front office? Can we do
I'm not a
that?
big baseball guy. I grew up playing baseball, but it's tough for me to watch.
It's a little slower paced, that's
Yeah.
for sure. But I'm just saying, like, there's only so many sports jobs. And, I think if the Marlins offer you a job because they see the QCast, I think you might need to consider it. Just saying,
I would
let you think
absolutely.
about that. So you've played 4 years at Carnegie Mellon. You have a fifth year because you were a freshman in that year that everyone got the COVID year. So you're in the last group that has this extra year and you are going to use it. Now, take me through this. What was staying? I don't know this well enough. Like, are there grad programs at Carnegie Mellon? Could you have stayed there and walk me through the decision before you tell us where you're going? What was the decision on, like, am I staying here or looking for somewhere else to go?
Yeah. So to answer your question, there are grad programs. Um, my roommate RJ, like engineering is a big thing at our school, computer science a big thing, um, big STEM school. Uh, but as I said earlier, with me, with my interest being in sports, that's not an option here at Carnegie Mellon.
Sure.
You can get your MBA. I did talk to my coach at the end of last year, and I think it's a tough program to get into, so I don't think that was really an option for me. So I didn't really, Carnegie Mellon for my fifth year wasn't really an option for me, just because of what my interests are and what I
Sure.
want to do. But for other guys, I know there are plenty of opportunities here.
So then it was a matter of looking at other places. And did you know for sure that you wanted to hoop in addition to going to school to get, to pursue this kind of sports related theme? Like, did you know you wanted to play basketball?
Yeah, I think I've always loved basketball. I think it really started to hit that I wanted to play another year probably in October of last year. I had some conversations with guys who graduated, Josh Berry, Nick Nakasian, who I think you guys might have talked a little bit.
He,
Um,
he was QCast. He was my follower number 2,500 on Twitter.
was he?
He'll always hold a special place in my heart. All the milestone Twitter followers, I have like a gold plaque over here on the QCast office wall. Nick Nakashian, is it Nakashian? Is that how we say it? Nakashian?
Nakasian.
He was number 2,500. I'm almost positive, and he's my
Yeah.
guy for sure.
Yeah, Nick's awesome. But talking with those guys, if you got the opportunity to play another year, um, and you feel up to it, I mean, obviously it takes work in the off season, getting your body ready. And it's it's a big responsibility during the season. But if you're ready to do it and put in the work, like, I mean, it's a no-brainer. And I feel like if I didn't take the opportunity, I'd regret it later on. So I think around October was when I was, looking at master's programs, and I was thinking about, seriously playing another year.
Yeah, and I would say to anyone that came on the QCast, and if they wanted to listen to me, what I would say is you'd regret it if you left that year on the table. I mean,
Yeah.
you really would, because look, spoiler alert here, Jack. Once you get into the real world, all hell breaks loose. And like,
Mhm.
if I could go to college one more year, I would have for sure done that. And I wasn't even a hooper. I just would have gone to hang out with people. So
Yeah.
good on you for deciding you want to go get this degree, and that you want to play basketball another year. So with that, we have an interesting and monumental QCast announcement here. Jack Stone, after a lot of deliberation, after a lot of searching, could you tell us where you are going to attend school and play basketball next year?
Yeah, so I'll be staying in conference, and I'm heading to New York, uh, join the Violets, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Um, and looking forward to the rematch against my old team.
Yeah, no, that gets interesting, right? When I learned about where you're going, we haven't seen a ton of these. There's been some. We haven't seen a ton of these in conference ones. There's definitely been some. The guys at Trine come to mind, that transferred
Mhm.
into Trine. But anything about your consideration that got a little like, oh man, I don't know if I can play against my old team, or was it like so focused on the school itself and how great the school fit was for your degree? Talk about, like, was it weird transferring in the conference?
Yeah, I think for when I initially started thinking about, where I was going to play, I think it was a little weird, and I started to think I couldn't remember if it's ever happened before in the UAA. But I spoke with my head coach, Coach Wingen, and something that we stressed a lot was like, hey, this is a decision for my career. It's where I need to be, if I want to do what I want to do, and it puts me in the best spot. And after talking with Coach Wingen on the phone, it was, I mean, I'm not going to let 4 years of our relationship go down the drain just because of some, you
Right.
know, competitive aspect of playing against each other. So after we had that conversation, and look, I mean, I play against 5-on-5 against my teammates all the time in practice. Now next year I'll just be having a different jersey on, but no, I don't think it's going to be weird at all.
And Coach Kalatsky, I'm sure, is thrilled to have you at the Violets. Are you going to shoot any of these crazy ass Spencer Friedman shots? Like, shot clock's going out, you're just dribbling around like 30 feet from hoop, just you step back. Are you gonna have like free reign to shoot those shots, or have you talked to Coach Kalatsky about that?
Spencer's a one of a kind guy. I doubt that I'll have the green light like him. I actually I got to watch Spencer a lot growing up. He's from my area.
Sure.
And as a fellow Jewish hooper, he was a huge role model in the Orange County Jewish community circle. Um, I used to a couple times I worked out with Spence when he was younger. I mean, he's just uber talented. Um, can make shots anywhere on the court. I remember my high school team played against Mater Dei. I think it was my sophomore year. Spencer was a senior, and they had Bull Bull on that team. And I mean, Bull Bull's an NBA player, and he wasn't even the best player on the court at the
Wow.
time. It was Spencer Freeman. So no, I doubt that I'll have the green light to shoot the shots that Spencer has. Although I feel like I can make them, but you know, not probably not at the clip that Spencer can make them at.
Being a Jewish hooper, I just wondered, did my friends at Yeshiva ever try to get a hold of you for the fifth year? Did they know that you were looking, and any
No,
phone calls from Coach Steinmetz?
no, never got any phone calls and never even thought about that.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing you didn't like put on Twitter that you were, like, you put your highlight film, because I guarantee you that, like, every yeshiva alum would have been hitting you up. They dominate Twitter, these yeshiva guys.
Yeah,
They would have harassed you for days and days until you committed to yeshiva. So
yeah,
good on you for keeping this a little more like on the down low, Jack Stone. Like, good, really good call on that. Poppers probably would have called you, and a bunch of people would have called you. So good,
it's
good on you.
it's funny. My coach in the Maccabi games. I don't know if you're familiar with it,
Yeah.
but it's so my coach in the Maccabi games. Whenever we play against NYU, I mean, he's posting on Facebook about you know me versus Spencer and stuff like that. It's always funny because just to grow up in Southern California and then come out all the way here on the East Coast and play against each other. It's pretty cool. And yeah,
It's gonna be cool to watch you play for NYU as we start to kind of wrap up. Uh, I don't know who I don't know who else is transferred into NYU. I got some word, I don't know, maybe a month ago, that, like, just someone said that NYU's got some dudes coming in, and I think that you were probably one of those people that they were talking about, but I think it's fair to say that you're going to have a very talented team. Let's just leave it at that. Is Coach Klatsky's going to have a really talented team next year? What are your expectations next year as a Hooper at NYU? I know you don't even know who all your teammates are yet, haven't met
Yeah.
them, but like, what are your expectations as a Hooper going to NYU?
Yeah, I think we're gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Coach Klatsky's great offensive mind. And I love a lot of the stuff that they run. We're going to be fast paced, probably, get up and down. I think we're going to score a lot. I think we're going to be exciting to watch for sure. And expectations always is to be the best and win the league. I mean, um, they've been, on the up and coming for years now. And I mean, you saw last year co-champs, and the expectations get right back to where we were or where they were last year. And I think we got the guys to do that for sure.
It's interesting. You got to kind of toe this we line all of a sudden,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this,
yeah.
they
Right.
we, I don't know what's correct either. What the Case Western Reserve, are we thinking they roll in the D3 All-Star team again? You know what? I got to
Mm.
believe there's some more transfers coming there to Cleveland, right?
Yeah, look, they're always active in the portal. I'm sure that they'll have some guys coming in, and they're always a pain in the butt to play against just because of the talent they always have. And I'm sure it'll be the same next year.
Yeah, it should be another great year in the UAA. I think UAA is one of the leagues that the fifth years really impacted the league quite a bit. Look at NYU this year, look at Case. A lot of the teams have had some fifth year guys, and so I think next year should be no different with the UAA
Yeah,
being the deepest league from 1 to 8. It's been pretty crazy to think like whoever number 8 is a really, really good team. So look forward to watching you play there, Jack, and would like to give you final thoughts here. You're going to have both Carnegie Mellon fans tuning in, hopefully some NYU fans, hopefully some Division III fans. As we start to close up the QCast season 4, episode 49, what do you want to leave everyone with?
uh, tune into the UAA next year. Be a lot of fun. Games are always, and we always talked about this in the locker room, but the margin of error is so small in that league. Um, on any given night, any team can win. It's a lot of fun to watch and just follow. So
Well, you've been fun to watch play. I've watched you play a whole bunch of games in the last 4 years. That's for sure. Fridays and Sundays
yeah,
are UAA days, and I have watched you play a bunch of times, Jack. So best of luck to you. Congratulations on what you've done at Carnegie Mellon,
thank you.
and good luck playing for the Violets next year. That's going to be a lot of fun. And folks, that is Jack Stone. He's heading to NYU to play a grad year, his fifth year for the Violets. That's been QCast season 4, episode 49. Have a great rest of your time there in Pittsburgh, Jack. We'll be wishing you well. Okay.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
Thank you.